You might get a few nightmares from this one. So society seems to have a weird fascination with serial killers. We write books, we make movies about them, hell, we even put wax figures of them up in our museums. And we've all heard of the most famous ones like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, and the oh-so-creepy murderous clown John Wayne Gacy, but their careers are over, so there's nothing to fear, right? Well, as it turns out, there's more than a few serial killers that have made a name for themselves that are roaming the world right now. In fact, they may be closer than you think. So if you thought the worst of the worst were either dead or locked up, prepare yourself, because here are 10 terrifying serial killers who are free right now. Number 1 is the COBE Cannibal. The COBE Cannibal is a famous necrophiliac murderer from Japan who's known for killing, having sex with, and eating a Dutch woman named Renee Hartveld, and yes, he did those things in that order. After being declared insane, he was placed in an asylum to only be released after 15 months due to paperwork problems and heavy influence from his rich father. Today, he enjoys a life as a minor celebrity in Tokyo and lives an open and public life. He's written 2 books, starred in movies, and even speaks at public events where he goes into detail about what it's like to eat people, even mentioning that they taste like tuna. I would say that it's weird that Japan is making this guy a minor celebrity, but then again, this is the same culture that brought us bagel heads, tentacle porn, and pixelated wangs, so yeah, I'm not surprised. Number 2 is the Predator of Ciudad, Juarez. Hailing from Mexico, this unidentified killer is responsible for 165 murders. Since 1993, more than 500 women have been murdered in Ciudad, Juarez, making it one of the most dangerous cities in the world. The disturbing thing is that out of all the killings, more than 1/3 are so similar that they're believed to be the work of a single madman. So essentially what we've got here is one of 2 scenarios. Either there's a whole bunch of murderers running around in Mexico killing people, or one murderer who's just really good at covering his tracks. Either way, you should probably reconsider that family vacation to Mexico. Number 3 is the Monster of the Andes. Born in Colombia, this murderer became famous for the sheer number of young girls that he killed. Between 1969 and 1980, he killed over 350 girls, 110 in Ecuador, and another 240 in Peru and Colombia. But what's even more disturbing than that was the penalty that he got for his crimes. As it turns out, Ecuador has no death penalty and has a maximum prison sentence of only 20 years. So in 1999, he was released, having served an average of less than 3 weeks prison time for each one of his victims. And of course, like most guys on this list, he didn't learn his lesson because he's wanted right now by Interpol for a murder he's suspected of committing back in 2002, meaning that he's been out there for over a decade. But don't worry, I'm sure you're safe, nothing to worry about. Sweet dreams. Number 4 is the Karachi child killer. The Karachi child killer is an unidentified murderer from Pakistan who exclusively targets children. Between 2012 and 2013, more than 15 children have gone missing, all of which were found brutally murdered. However, at the beginning of this year, there was a sharp rise in child abductions in the city of Karachi, with more than 190 cases being reported. In fact, it's becoming such a problem that police recommend to parents that they don't let their children out of their sight after dark. Look, I don't want to make a joke because this is really awful, but maybe if the Pakistani police put in as much effort into finding this guy as telemarketers do into calling us, maybe they'd get somewhere. Number 5 is the Finland Slayer. Born in Finland, this psycho committed his first murder at the age of 22 when he murdered a husband, a wife, and their son, all over a bike. Since then, he's been released multiple times, each time going back to jail for various crimes like car theft, parole violations, assault, and yes, even more murders. He also successfully escaped 5 times over the last 20-odd years of being in prison. Yet despite all of that, in July of last year, authorities saw fit to reduce his sentence to only 10 months, meaning that he should be free right now. So if you're a bike owner in Finland or Sweden, you may want to consider another mode of transportation because Stabby McStabberson's on the loose and he's got a fetish for bikes. You've been warned. Number 6 is the highway serial killings. These killings are unique because they may involve up to 200 unidentified murderers that are responsible for 450 homicides over the last 4 decades. The victims are almost always women in the sex trade whose bodies are found off of highways all across the United States, sometimes in pieces in plastic bags. In fact, these killings have become such a problem that the FBI created the Highway Serial Killings Initiative to try to protect the public and identify those responsible. The initiative includes such innovative tips as don't get in a truck with a stranger. Oh, good thing they told me that. I was totally planning on hitching a ride with the next creepy trucker I saw. Whew. The more you know. Number 7 is Metal Fang. Hailing from Kazakhstan, this sociopath got the nickname of Metal Fang due to his white metal teeth that he used to eat the 50 to 100 women that he murdered. Surprisingly, he was never found guilty for his crimes due to a diagnosis of insanity and schizophrenia. He's been in and out of mental institutions for the last 30 years, and the last that anybody heard of him was that he was deemed cured and is now a free man. That, despite reservations from some of his doctors who believe that he will never be cured of his cannibalistic instincts. Well, seeing as how he's a free man and he was never found responsible for his crimes, he's free to travel the world. That means he could be anywhere, even your attic. Why don't you go take a look-see? Number 8 is the Long Island serial killer. This psycho is an unidentified serial killer who's believed to have been responsible for 10 to 14 murders of women associated with the sex trade since 1996. He got his name for the way that he dumps his victims' bodies along Ocean Parkway on Long Island, New York. Some people even believe that this killer could have ties to law enforcement because of his sophisticated knowledge of police procedures. So in other words, there's a real-life Dexter? Well, that's comforting. I guess it's to serve and protect and to chop you up into little pieces, claddies. Number 9 is the Smiley Face Killer. The Smiley Face Killer is the name given to an unidentified killer who's been responsible for over 200 murders since the early 1990s. In every case, a young man disappeared after a late night of partying and was found drowned after a certain time. His name was given after detectives found a graffiti smiley face at many of the drowning sites. What's interesting about this killer is that similar to the highway killings, these occurred across the entire United States. See? You should never trust someone that's all about smiling and seems happy all the time because they're probably a psycho. And number 10, the Mexicali Ripper. The Mexicali Ripper is an unidentified serial killer from Mexico who's responsible for killing over 44 women since 2008. He dismembers his victims, throwing the pieces into canals and vacant lots, primarily targeting prostitutes in the city. Up until 2011, Mexican police refused to admit the existence of a serial killer due to the vast number of crime-related murders. However, they have no choice now as a serious threat exists. Wait a minute, Mexican police tried to cover this up? But that sounds like corruption. Mexican police aren't corrupt. No. And that's all for this time, guys. If you enjoyed this video, you should definitely check out my friend Rob Dyke's new video called The Creepiest Death Rituals. It's exactly what it sounds like. He talks about the creepiest death rituals in the world. It'll freak you out a little bit, but it's super interesting. It's part of a seriously strange show, so if that interests you, I'll put a link in the description below. And if you want to add me to Facebook or Twitter, or subscribe to my second channel, I'll put the links to all of those also in the description. And I will see you guys next Saturday with a brand new video. Peace. Hello and welcome to the outro screen. Hey guys, thanks for watching my new video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to click the big red subscribe button below to subscribe to my channel. I release a new video every Saturday, and while you're at it, maybe click the like button and share this on Facebook. And if you've done that, I very much appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope this didn't give you too bad of nightmares, and I'll see you next week. Peace. I should get metal teeth.